Today's lesson is Cats and Compassion inside a prison pet program. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to go to prison.
Oh, no.
And not us literally, but we're going to be talking about what's happening in a prison, I believe, in Indiana. And they have some sort of program to help inmates out, and it involves pussycats.
Oh, that sounds like a lovely idea. Of course, a lot of prisons have these programs to educate people, to help them pass maybe their high school graduation, get their high school degree, learn a trade, do some vocational training or training for work after they leave. I've even heard of guitar programs where they'll donate guitars and the inmates in the prison as a way of passing the time and developing skills and hobbies, learn how to play guitar and even form rock bands. So why not? Taking care of pets in prison sounds great. I think cats are the right choice. You have to take dogs out for a walk. And having prisoners walking around the neighborhood with their dogs would probably be bad for security.
Right.
But as anyone knows, cats can be indoor animals, and obviously as a prisoner, you spend a lot of time indoors.
Right, and of course you might be concerned, my goodness, aren't cats kind of delicate, sort of weak creatures, and you're putting them in there with some really violent criminals or something like that, but they're actually giving these pets to criminals, or inmates, I should say, who have behaved well, so the cats are going to do perfectly fine. So let's find out what this is all about. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson, and we'll be right back.
Cats and Compassion inside a prison pet program. Anthony and Gazoo ended up in prison for very different reasons. Despite their distinctive backgrounds, however, they've established a close bond with one another. Thanks to the Forward program at Indiana's Pendleton Correctional Facility, Anthony, a human inmate, is given the opportunity to care for Gazoo and around 20 other abandoned and abused cats for 6 hours every day.
大家好，第一部分介绍形容词 distinctive， 它的意思是与众不同的、独特的或是特有的。例如Gordon's distinctive laugh made him easy to find in the crowded room. Gordon 独特的笑声让他在拥挤的房间里很容易被发现。或者 The artist has a distinctive style that sets them apart from others. 该艺术家有一种独特的风格，使他与其他人区分开来。再来看到名词 facility， 表示设施，有特定用途的场所。例如The worker was rushed to a medical facility to treat her injuries. 那名工人被迅速送到医疗机构治疗伤势。继续看到形容词 abandoned， 它的意思是被遗弃的或是遭弃用的。例如 I reported the abandoned car that was parked in front of my house to the police. 我向警察举报了停在我家门口的那辆废弃汽车。也可以说That old abandoned factory hasn't been used in 60 years. 那间老旧废弃的工厂已经60年没被使用了。再来介绍形容词 abused， 表示虐待的或是滥用的。我们可以说 Animals that are abused often display aggressive behavior later. 遭受虐待的动物后期常展现出攻击性行为。又或者说Abused workers at the factory are planning to sue for compensation. 该工厂被虐待的工人正在计划提起诉讼索赔。
So the title today is Cats and Compassion, two words that start with C. It's a catchy title. And of course, we know what a cat is. Compassion just means you have sympathy for somebody, you feel for them, and indeed, they don't just want to punish these inmates in the prison and beat them and torture them and stuff like that and make them pay for their crime. They want to rehabilitate them, and this is one way. It's a very compassionate thing to do.
That's right. And as we see in the rest of the title, it is part of a prison pet program program. A program is some kind of organized schedule of things, maybe different activities, different types of training that they have. And this is a pet program as opposed to an educational program or an exercise program or something like that. So let's find out what is going on in these prisons with their pussycats. It says Anthony and Gazoo ended up in prison for very different reasons. I'm guessing Anthony is the human and Gazoo is the animal, the cat. It says despite their distinctive backgrounds, however, they've established a close bond with one another. Well, that's very nice. Yes, they definitely have distinctive backgrounds. If something is distinctive, it's quite unique. We can also say it's quite distinct. It kind of stands out on its own. It's unlike other things. And if we look at the background of a human criminal who has now become a prison inmate and a small, cute little cat, they definitely have different backgrounds, different histories. They come from different places and have had different experiences. However, they've established a close bond with one another. When we use bond here, we're talking about kind of an emotional connection. They've established a close relationship, a close friendship, this kind of bond. We can talk about family bonds, friendship bonds, different things like that, just to describe relationships and how people know each other.
Absolutely. Let's move on now to the next sentence. It says, thanks to the Forward program at Indiana's Pendleton Correctional Facility, Anthony, a human inmate, is given the opportunity to care for Gazoo and around 20 other abandoned and abused cats for 6 hours every day. That's a long sentence, so let's talk about it part by part here. Thanks to the Forward program and Indiana's Pendleton Correctional Facility. So that just means because of the efforts of this particular institution, something else results as a result of that. So thanks to this program, because of this program at this correctional facility, Anthony is able to care for some cats 6 hours every day. So again, this is the Indiana Pendleton Correctional Facility. A facility is a building or an institution that is set up for some kind of purpose. In this particular case, it is a prison.
Yes, and Anthony is a prisoner in that prison, or as we call him here, an inmate. Inmate is basically the same as a prisoner, someone who is locked up in an institutional, in this case a correctional institution or a prison facility, and he will stay there until his sentence, the time that he has been given for his crimes has elapsed, and then hopefully he will be released to be free in society again. Now, though, in the prison as an inmate, he has the opportunity to care for Gazoo and around 20 other abandoned and abused cats for 6 hours every day. So this program sounds not like the prisoners are actually getting their own pets and they sort of live in the cells, live in the same living areas as the prisoners. No, more like an animal shelter. These are abandoned and abused cats, cats that have been kicked out of homes, that have been found by the roadside, that people couldn't afford or couldn't take care of anymore. And instead of abandoning them or abusing them, they've ended up being taken care of in this prison. If you're abandoned, someone just leaves you behind. You can, of course, abandon an animal, which is not a nice thing to do at all. Just leave your pet behind or kick your pet out the door. Or you can abandon something. Maybe if your car breaks down by the side of the road and you can't fix it and no one can come and help you, you'll have to abandon it. You'll have to kind of walk away. And if the car is really broken, maybe never come back. After big storms, we might find a lot of abandoned homes that have been damaged too badly to live in. And in some even more sad cases, these cats have been abused. That means they have been physically mistreated. They might have been kicked or punched or burned or something by terrible people who have owned them. And for the cat's safety, they have been removed from those homes and placed in this animal shelter inside this Indiana prison.
Yeah, I saw a video recently of a cat that was painted blue.
Oh,
that's pretty cruel. So that is
terrible abuse.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. So that's an example of an abused cat. And, of course, in the video, the guy took care of the cat and he recovered. But in any case here, this is what's happening to Anthony and probably some other inmates in this correctional facility or in this prison in Indiana. Let's find out some more about this particular program in the next part of our lesson. We'll listen first.
The program, which is open only to inmates who have behaved well in the prison, aims to rehabilitate prisoners by offering them a sense of purpose. In caring for their feline friends, the inmates can develop their empathy and responsibility. This growth, in turn, could help them reintegrate into society and stay out of trouble. In fact, similar prison pet programs across the U.S. have proven effective in reducing recidivism among participating prisoners. Of course, these programs are also of benefit to their animal participants. In addition to receiving care and affection, the cats in the Forward program benefit from being socialized by the inmates, as this increases their chances of being adopted.
第二部分接着看到动词 rehabilitate， 它的意思是使犯人更生，也可以是使康复或是使恢复正常生活的意思。例如 The new program aims to rehabilitate prisoners through education and therapy. 该新计划旨在透过教育和治疗来使囚犯更生。接下来介绍名词 participant， 指的是参加者或是参与者。举例来说 All of the workshop participants were given a notebook and a pen. 所有研讨会的参与者都获得了一本笔记本和一支笔。又或者说 As a participant in the study, Sarah provided lots of valuable data for the analysis. 作为研究的参与者 Sarah 为分析提供了大量有价值的数据。最后看到名词 affection， 表示喜爱、感情或是钟爱、爱慕之情。我们可以说 Randy has great affection for all of his grandchildren. Randy 喜爱他所有的孙子。也可以说 Jared bought Lucy some flowers as a sign of his affection. Jared 为 Lucy 买了一些花，以示他的爱慕之情。
Okay, so let's break it down and talk more specifically about this program, the Forward program. The program, which is open only to inmates who have behaved well in the prison, aims to rehabilitate prisoners by offering them a sense of purpose. So it's open to inmates who have behaved well in the prison. Okay, they have not gotten in any gang fights, or they haven't been really bad to the wardens or the guards or anybody like that. They have behaved well. They've been good boys. So it's open to them, and this program aims to rehabilitate those prisoners. If you rehabilitate something, you return it to its original condition, and you try to get rid of the bad things that that thing has. So yeah, you want to rehabilitate, you want to reform that person so that they're no longer a criminal, or at least they no longer have criminal ideas.
That's right, and also offer them a sense of purpose. A purpose is basically a desire to do something, a drive to do something, a motivation to do something. So you can imagine that life in prison can be very, very boring. You have many years to spend there. You kind of lose your sense of purpose. You have no real reason to get up in the morning or get out of bed, or don't have any motivation, nothing to look forward to. So this kind of returns that sense of purpose, gives them something to look forward to. Taking care of the cats is a wonderful, enjoyable activity that they can really be enthusiastic about. It says in caring for their feline friends, the inmates can develop their empathy and responsibility. This will be part of the rehabilitation they want these inmates to go through by caring for their feline friends. Yes, feline is the scientific category that all cats are put in. So any cat, from a small little house cat to a great big lion or tiger, scientifically would be described as a feline. Dogs, you might know, are canine. So anything from a little chihuahua to a big wolf would be a canine in the dog species or the dog family. With cats, we talk about feline. So feline friends, they're pet cats, in other words. And by taking care of them, they can develop their empathy and responsibility. Empathy is basically like caring, sympathy, kindness. You have to be kind to the cat, gentle with the cat, feed the cat, take care of the cat, pet the cat when it wants comfort, you know, that kind of thing. So they're just learning to be kind, caring people. And, of course, they have to be responsible. They have to make sure the cats are happy, well-fed, have water, have all their poop taken care of, and all of those other pet care needs.
Yes, and moving on to the next sentence, it says, this growth, in turn, could help them reintegrate into society and stay out of trouble. So this growth or this particular program, this opportunity to have empathy with the cats and to be responsible for them will in turn, or as a result, help them reintegrate into society. Now, the word integrate means things get mixed together. If you talk about mixing different kinds of people together, like black people with white people or Chinese people, we could say it's an integrated school. Or when I went to university, it was an integrated dormitory where we had men and women living in the same dormitory. It was integrated. But if you reintegrate, you have to reintroduce them to society to become an outstanding member of society again.
And they want them to stay out of trouble as well. Yes, not get in trouble, not get back in prison for crimes in the future. In fact, similar prison pet programs across the U.S. have proven effective in reducing recidivism among participating prisoners. There you go. This is a tried and tested idea. Having prisoners, I should say, take care of pets, and maybe the pets had taken care of the prisoners. It's worked before. It has proven effective. It's been used in other institutions, and it has worked. It has reduced recidivism. This is a good term to know when talking about prisons and the judicial system, locking people up. Recidivism is when people re-offend. They commit a crime, they go to jail, and then when they get out of jail, a time later, a couple of years later, whatever, they commit another crime and end up right back in jail. And that is what a lot of these prison programs are trying to avoid by training them, by giving them education, by giving them life skills, things like that. They're hoping to reduce recidivism levels, try to get the number of people who commit more crimes in the future and end up back in jail, try to get those numbers down.
And of course, these programs are also of benefit to their animal participants. They're useful for the animals who are participating in this program. A participant, of course, is someone who participates or joins in some sort of activity. So the cats are part of this program. I don't think they really know exactly what's going on, but they probably enjoy the attention they're getting from their new masters. And in addition to receiving care and affection, the cats in the Forward program benefit from being socialized by the inmates, as this increases their chances of being adopted. Okay, so here, in addition to receiving care and affection, they get something else. So we've got this pattern here. In addition to something, they also get something else. Care and affection just means they get attention. Affection is love, caring, things like that. So yes, the inmates, I'm sure, really like the cats. They pet them, they make them purr, and they're just really nice to the cats in general. So the cats can benefit from that. And the cats can also be socialized by the inmates, which means the cats will learn how to interact with people and maybe with other cats, because this increases their chances of being adopted. So, of course, they're helping the cats out. They were abused and abandoned, so the cats need some kind of work, some kind of socialization. And later on, they become, regular cats. They're not feisty. They don't want to fight or scratch you or hiss and things like that. They're actually going to be suitable to be adopted by families. Okay, we're at the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's move on now to the third part and wrap things up.
In short, the program provides a win-win situation for the cats and the prisoners. In exchange for a little care and consideration in their temporary home, the cats help the inmates change their own lives for the better.
Okay, so in short, or to summarize, to sum up, the program provides a win-win situation for the cats and the prisoners. So we're always striving for something like this, a win-win situation where anybody participating in a particular program can benefit. Everybody can benefit, and nobody wins and nobody loses. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
Absolutely. And to sum up, in exchange for a little care and consideration in their temporary home, so the cats, of course, are being taken care of and being affection in their temporary home, their limited time home in this prison program, the cats help the inmates change their own lives for the better. So here we're talking about how both sides kind of win here. The prisoners, of course, get to take care of the cats and learn all sorts of things about themselves, empathy, responsibility, kindness, that kind of thing. And the cats, of course, learn how to be taken care of by humans, how to be touched by humans, and how to get affection from humans. And so this can help both the cats and the inmates change their own lives for the better. When you do something for the better, it all works out in the end. In fact, it might even work out better than you had hoped. For example, if a miserable job that makes you unhappy, and then you get fired or something happens in that job, but then soon after you find a better job that you love, well, it all worked out for the better. You might have thought that it was a bad thing being in prison and all this kind of stuff, but with this pet program, maybe these prisoners end up being better, happier, more well-suited for society once they get out. And that would be a good thing, as it says, a win-win for both the cats and the prisoners.
Indeed, and of course it's very therapeutic if you happen to have a cat that likes to purr. That is a really wonderful thing if you pet the cat and
it's lovely.
It kind of purrs and then it rubs up against you and kind of licks you and stuff like that. So that, of course, is psychologically boosting for a lot of people who may have some sorts of problems. So this could also be applied to other situations as well, not just for prisoners. And also as a reminder, there are lots of shelters in Taiwan that have pets for adoption, so you might want to consider going down there and adopting a pet like a cat or maybe even a puppy or a dog or maybe even a rooster. Sometimes people adopt chickens as pets.
That's a good idea. And of course, if you can have a pet at home, if it doesn't sort of fit your lifestyle, if you live in a small place or travel too much, there are many animal shelters that you can go down and volunteer at. If you want to do this sort of thing, spend a few hours on the weekend with some of the pets, help out around there. I'm sure many of the animal shelters would love for people in the community to come in and join them in their work in whatever capacity suits your lifestyle.
Okay, we're at the end of our explanation for today, but Hanny would like to talk to you now.
Hello, 各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 今天要看的文章呢是跟监狱宠物计划有关。那我们来看看文章里面的5个题目。第一个题目是空格 The Forward Program at Indiana's Pendleton Correctional Facility. Anthony, a human inmate, is given the opportunity to care for Gazoo and around 20 other abandoned and abused cats for 6 hours every day. 题目意思是说，空格印第安纳州彭德尔顿监狱的 Forward 计划，人类囚犯安东尼有机会每天有6小时照顾家族和其他大约20只被遗弃和受虐的猫。那这题考我们片语介系词，来看选项 A in addition to 表示除了点点点， B thanks to 表示幸亏由于怎么样， C with respect to 表示关于点点点，D in the event of 表示如果什么什么发生的话，万一怎么样怎么样。从语义上来看，最适合选项会是 B thanks to， 可以表达由于 Forward 计划，多亏了这个计划，囚犯安东尼才有机会能够照顾那些猫。那其他3个选项语义都不符合。好，第二题是 The program which is open only to inmates who have behaved well in the prison. 逗号空格 Rehabilitate prisoners by offering them a sense of purpose. 题目意思是这个计划只对在狱中表现良好的囚犯开放，空格透过提供犯人意志帮助他们更生。那这题是考我们片语动词，来看选项 A comes down to 表示归结为什么，归根究底在于什么什么。那么 B works up to 表示逐步发展到或者是渐渐达到某情况， C tends to 表示经常往往， D aims to 表示旨在目的为什么什么。那从前后文判断，题目句子应该是在表达这个计划的宗旨目的，所以最适合选项会是 D aims to。 那么第3题他提到This growth, in turn, could help them reintegrate into society and 空格。题目意思是反过来，这种成长可以帮助他们重新融入社会， being 空格。那来看选项 A run out of patience 是失去耐心， B get away with murder 表示逍遥法外，为所欲为，做坏事而没有受到处罚， C stay out of trouble 表示远离麻烦， D keep up with the news 表示跟上时事。课文前一句提到，在照顾猫朋友时，囚犯可以培养自己的同理心和责任感，而这个题目句子又提到，这种成长可以帮助他们重新融入社会，并怎么样。那从语义上来看，最适合的选项会是 C stay out of trouble 远离麻烦。好，那么第4题他提到 In fact, similar prison pet programs across the U.S. 空格 in reducing recidivism among participating prisoners 题目意思是，事实上美国各地类似的监狱宠物计划空格可以降低参与囚犯的累犯率。这题考我们时态，来看选项 A will prove effective， B have proven effective， C had proven effective， D proved effective。 那么根据题目句子的意思，它是在描述从过去到现在持续发生的情况，并且对现在产生影响，所以这个时态要用现在完成式。我们答案选 B have proven effective， 用来表达说已被证明可以有效降低参与囚犯的累犯率。好，我们看到第5题，他说 In addition to receiving care and affection, the cats in the forward program benefit from being 空格 by the inmates as this increases their chances of being adopted。 题目意思是，除了获得照顾和爱护外， Forward 计划中的猫还受益于与囚犯的空格，因为这增加了他们被领养的机会。这题考我们字汇，来看选项 A socialized， 它表示进行社交活动，与人交流往来， B criticized 表示批判批评， C mobilized 表示动员调动， D harmonized 表示使协调配合还有和声的意思。语义上来看，它应该是要表达猫与囚犯的交流增加了他们被领养的机会。那最适合选项会是 A socialized， 那其他3个选项语义都不符合。以上就是今天的讲解，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Distinctive. John's voice has a distinctive quality that makes it easy to recognize. Bond. Amy and Floyd's shared love of cinema has created a strong bond between them. Facility. The university's new sports facility offers advanced training equipment to help athletes compete at their best. Abandoned. The abandoned puppy was starving due to a lack of food. Abused. The abused kitten hid under a bed, seeking safety from the cruel treatment it had received. Rehabilitate. The program's goal is to rehabilitate prisoners so that they can lead productive lives after leaving prison. Participant. More than 1,000 participants from all over the world took part in the big race. Affection. Mrs. Morgan's eyes showed great affection as she watched her daughter play on the playground.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.